Hi, I'm Morgan,
And I'm Megan.
twins and host of M&M Chat, a monthly podcast that brings together our many commonalities: motherhood, farm life, fitness, chasing our passions, and girl chat. It's our goal to create a show that is positive, real, and fun. Now let's continue to dive into season two.
Hey guys, I'm so excited that we are back and we are recording our April episode. So, season two is titled Calming the Messy. We've been going through this series since January, and we are breaking the year up into four different series just to focus a little bit more in 2023 and help us dive a little bit deeper and enrich our conversations. So today we are starting our second series all about organization and creating a calm and peaceful home. This topic is very relevant for Morgan and I, being that we are pretty young still, young, married and with kids, and so it's just something that we are continuing to strive for, and we thought it would be a good conversation to have. And we know that having a calm and peaceful environment just helps with everyday things. So we are going to start with doing some questions just to kind of break the ice a little bit, have some fun with this topic, and then we will do some updates, what's kind of going on in our lives, and then some tips that we have learned about through some research. So we are excited for today's episode.
These questions, Megan, I got from it's Haven Home Organizing LLC, and her name is Morgan Ovens, and she has a free guide on her website. So these questions came from that free guide. If you want to go check it out, she's on Instagram, and she has a lot of great tips for organization. And these questions are just to kind of get us thinking about this topic and um, kind of breaking the ice of where we're even at in home organization, and it's never going to be a start to end project. It's probably going to continue, especially through those different life seasons, whether you're a college student, whether you're just getting your first job, whether you're going through motherhood and that season, or if you're empty nesting. Like, every season's going to look different. And so these are just tips that she has for creating that organizational, peaceful environment. And that's going to look different for everyone. And it even looks different for Megan and I. So these questions here, the first one says, is there a room, a closet, or part of your home that's causing you the most stress right now, and why?
I would say for me, the room that is causing the most stress is probably my bathroom because we still haven't finished that project. I was hoping to paint. We had talked about in the last episode that my goal over spring break was to paint. We never did. And so we have that project to finish. And so right now we have multicolored walls. Part of the wall is yellow, part of it's white from trying to start the project and do some of the mudding on it. And it's kind of tore up still, and so it just seems messy, and doesn't seem like a nice, clean bathroom. So that's probably causing me the most stress. Also, any room that is always a catch-all room causes stress, I feel like, because it's kind of like just throw things in there and it doesn't look appealing. That's kind of our office right now, because we used to use Andrew's room as a storage room, but now that's a bedroom. And so our office that used to look nice and pretty and beautiful is kind of more of a catch-all room now, and half office, half storage, which is just the season that we're in, and we don't have a lot of extra storage space besides the attic. So I've been trying to get things in totes and move things up to the attic, but those are the two areas of the house that cause me probably the most stress. How about you?
Yeah, for me, well, right now I'm kind of in the transition. And so when we originally were moving out of our house, we did it very quickly. So we had been told that the market was really good for selling our house, especially in the town that we live in. And so we decided to move out in September, and we had everything boxed up, and we were putting our house on the market in October. So we had a month to get things. We painted our house when we sold it. We got everything boxed up. We put it on the market, got everything staged for pictures even. So all of that within 4 weeks. And I literally threw everything just in boxes. Like I didn't really organize, like this was the kitchen box, this was the bathroom box. Like I kind of just threw everything together. And we have things everywhere right now. And this was kind of supposed to be a temporary situation. So we sold our house in um October of 2022, right? Because it's been a
No,
year and a half. So it's nope, it's
2021.
2021. Yeah, 2021. It's now 2023. And we were thinking that it would be probably a 6 to 9 month transition period, and then we would be moving into our home that we're building. Well, it's been a year and a half, so I think my biggest thing is that I never really, if I would have known that we were going to be here for a year and a half, I would have unpacked more and like done at least a little bit more organizational things of like knowing where my stuff's at. So I think it's not so much a specific room for me at this point since I am in transition, but I think it's that I don't know where my stuff's at.
Hmm.
It's all everywhere. We have stuff in Grandma Pat's basement. We have stuff in my old bedroom at Dad's. We have stuff at Mom's house in her basement. We are living with Tyler's parents right now, so we have stuff here. And then we also even have stuff in Tyler's grandparents' garage. So we have a little bit everywhere. Um, and
Yeah, that would be tough.
that's causing me the most stress because I just feel like unsettled and I kind of want to do these things that we're talking about and I want to spring clean. Like right now, April is the perfect time to start talking about spring cleaning. But I'm also like, well, should I just wait because I'm gonna have to do all of this again when we move?
Yeah.
So now's a good time to have this conversation because then maybe I can be thinking about it when we do move. Because like I have a Goodwill pile started over here and I keep adding to it, but I'm also like, I'm really not gonna go through everything right now because then I'm gonna have a Goodwill pile here and then I'll have a Goodwill pile when I move into our house.
Yeah, yep, I agree. It's funny though, because I feel like there's two different pe types of people. There's the people that like make a bag for Goodwill and take it right away to get it out, and then those people that like let those stuff pile up and take it all at once, like a few months worth of stuff.
Who are you?
I feel like typically if it's just a little Walmart sack full, then I'll wait until I have a little bit more than that. But like last summer, I since I have summers off being a teacher, I did some deep cleaning, and then I have the day off, I typically like would take it either that day or the next day. So I feel like most of the time I take it right away, but if it's just like a bag, then I'm not going to waste time and gas to go take one Walmart sack full. I'm always like, I'll just stick it in my office, the catch-all room, and take it when I have more.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm kind of the same way with you on that. So with your bathroom and like with the catch-all with the office and stuff, how do those rooms like make you feel? So this is the next question. Like, can you share with us kind of the emotion you feel when you go into those spaces? It might be a little different from the bathroom to the office. And like, what do you think is causing those feelings and those maybe thoughts towards having anxiety with that room? Like, take us behind the scenes.
Yeah, I feel like for the bathroom, it just makes me more anxious because it's a project that's unfinished. And I feel like everybody sees that bathroom. It's the bathroom that guests use, it's the bathroom that's off of our kitchen. We use it daily. So I feel just kind of anxious about like, okay, we started this project, when are we going to finish it? As far as the catch-all room goes, that room, I'm starting to feel like there's a lot of stuff in there that I don't really need. I have a whole bookshelf of books that I haven't pulled out in years. I'm always going through them and weeding them out. Like I did take a bunch to Goodwill last year, but then I would be like, well, I might use this one later. And a lot of them are education books that I have, like people have donated to me when they retired or when they moved grade levels or things like that. So I'm always like, well, what if I need it down the road if I teach that certain grade or if I need those like children's books or chapter books or different things. So I don't really necessarily want to get rid of them, but then again, there's always new stuff in education. We always get stuff as far as curriculum goes, and like some of the things are outdated. So really, would I use them? So I'm trying to decide if I need to weed through that a little bit more. And then also my craft supplies, I feel like I need to go through that. So it's just the organization of there's a bunch of stuff in there that I don't really use anymore or I haven't used in years. And when I time comes that I want to create a craft, usually you go and get some of the supplies for it because you need specific colors of paper, you need specific colors of stickers or different things. So I feel like typically when you start a project, you go and get the materials that you need, and then the stuff in the catch-all room is just leftovers from old projects.
Well, and you never really like you said, when you are starting to work on a new craft or something, or you need green and red paper for Christmas, you forget what you have in that catch-all room. And so you're like, well, I should go look to see what I have. But I'm at Walmart right now. I'm thinking about it. I might as well buy the red and green paper because what if I don't have enough at home?
Yeah.
And then you get the red and green paper, you get home 6 months later, you're cleaning out that room and you have a stack this big of red and green paper, and you're like, well, shoot, I had some sitting here. But when it's
Yes.
in your catch-all room and you can't see what you have, it's just hard to like know, like, do I have enough? Is it like you said, is it outdated? Is it
Yeah.
And so I feel like that's the thing is we have good intentions when we keep things. Like you said with the books and stuff that you got as donations from people maybe who were retiring and things like that. So we have good intentions when we keep things because we're like, well, what if I need this? Or it's still in good shape, I might as well not get rid of it. But then I
Yeah.
also feel like so many times that we can hold on to things that never get used. And if we change kind of our perspective around that, which I need to do that too, because I sometimes hold sentimental value to things that I don't
Hmm.
need to. But if we
Yeah.
change our perspective and we don't need it, then maybe someone else might get better use out of it. Or if we like, if you have crafts and stuff, maybe take it to, I don't know, if you have younger family members who might like doing crafts. Like I remember when we were little kids, we just had like crayon boxes of stickers and things like that. So things that we maybe might not need as adults, could we give them to like
Yeah.
our kids to play with, or could we find another use for it?
That's a good idea. And I feel like sometimes too we keep things because it's still in good shape, but we have no intentions of really using it again. Like how many bags and purses do I have stored away in the closet that I'm probably never going to pull out again? And honestly, I haven't really even been using a purse because I put my wallet in Andrew's diaper bag. So that's kind of the season I'm at right now. And then 10 years from now, when I'm not using a diaper bag or a bag anymore for my kids, then I probably want to get a purse again. But am I really going to want to use the purse that I used when I was 18 years old, 19
Yeah,
years old? Because
be
I
out
haven't
of
really used any
season.
of my purses at 20, I'm 28 now. I haven't really used purses for a while. So some of those purses are even out of style. Like style has changed too. So then you're really keeping them for no reason.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And sometimes you can't, like if you have so much stuff, like especially like when I'm thinking about my sweatshirts and stuff, like I have two bins right here, two totes of sweatshirts. I usually pull off the top ones because I don't really even remember what's at the bottom. So like yes, I when I organize them and I refold them and I put them back in the tote, I'm like, "Oh yeah, I forgot about that Iowa State sweatshirt." But then it's like sometimes when you have too much stuff, you can't really see what you have. So then you're like, oh yeah, I forgot I had that. It was way down in the bottom of this tote. And maybe if I would wean out some of the ones that I never wear and I could visually see everything that I have, I would get more use out of each item.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. So how would you change the space that you're currently in? Like as far as you said you would maybe unpack, um, or even thinking about like your future space, like how do you want to change your future space compared to what you had at your guys' old house to make it more of an environment that is calm and inspiring?
I'm gonna try to use this moving into our new house as like kind of a clean slate. I want to put everything in the shop portion of the house, lay everything out, and really decide if I want to keep it or not. And not even take it into the house if it's something that I'm questioning if I want it or not, because I want to start with a clean and organized home without bringing everything because in the beginning when we first started this episode, I mentioned that when we moved, I just threw everything in boxes and I didn't really go through it. So I don't want to bring all of that stuff into our new house and then just have to reorganize it there and then take it somewhere. So I want to do that before I even find a home for those things in the different rooms. And I tried to think about storage. So like we have a bench that's going to be in our living room that we can lift up and put things in. So I want to prioritize like making things make sense in where I put them. So like maybe the blankets and board games and stuff go in that bench or movies. So I want to be strategic about where I put things and how it makes sense. And then like up in our loft, we're gonna have some shelving units. And I want to get a lot of totes so that way I can like label my Christmas decorations. Because right now I literally have all of my decorations together. I have Halloween with Christmas stuff. I have Easter stuff in there. So I want to have like totes that say this is a Christmas box, this is a Easter box, and things like that. So that way so I think labeling
Mm-hmm.
and the thing that's more important to me is decluttering. Like right now, you guys would be like, I think also it's an embarrassment thing, but Megan and I were talking about this. Like, if I was to scan this like computer around the room, I have clothes hanging on my laundry basket. I have my sweater from this morning sitting over here on this tote. I have Tyler's clothes in front of me on the floor. So, I really struggle with clutter. I'm not so concerned about dust and stuff. Like we're gonna get to that question here in a minute. But like cleaning versus organizing, clutter is what stresses me out, I think. And I think it's a stresses me out, but it's also an expectation. Like when people come over, I don't want clutter everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely think it's more of a kind of we hold ourselves up to that standard that we want to appear that we have it all put together when people come over. So that's why people like hurry up and clean. And even we were planning on having like a shop party to watch the basketball game on Friday. And I was afraid that people would be coming over to use the bathroom because the bathroom in the shop isn't hooked up yet. And so Friday, we got out of school early due to bad weather. And so in those 2 hours that we got out early, I was like vacuuming and sweeping and mopping and trying to get the bathroom somewhat put together before people would be coming over. So I think it definitely is like that societal standard that we set for ourselves. And honestly, most of the time people don't really care. Like when I go to somebody's house, I'm not like looking to see if they have it all put together.
No, you're not like, oh, they have dishes in their sink.
Yeah, no.
And it's funny how we justify ourselves too. Like, Josie, our intern, has been riding with me to lessons, and my car is not the cleanest. Like, Diesel rides in it. He gets hair on the seats. I have my muddy boots on the floor because if I stop out at the farm, I need my boots. And the last couple days, like today when she got in there, I was like, I am so sorry. It kind of smells like cow manure in here. I said my muddy boots are behind me on the floor. And she was just like, okay, no worries, no, not a problem. And so I felt like I had to justify why it kind of smelled funny in my car. But really, she was probably just got in and didn't think anything of it. And she
Yeah.
comes from a farm too, so she knows that smell. So I'm like, why am I sitting here like feeling like I have to say something? And then sometimes when you bring attention to it, then they notice it.
Yes, it does. One thing that I have changed recently that it's amazing how much it helped. It's crazy. It's so little. So in my living room, I had two nail holes by the picture of Kyle and I's wedding. And the reason we had two nail holes was because before we put our wedding picture there, we had a sign on the wall. And so then I tried, when I put the wedding picture up there, I tried to do it correctly. And I tried to put putty in the nail holes. And then I went to the store and got the same paint. I even kept the number, everything. But since it was more of a concentrated container, since it was a smaller amount, it wasn't a full like gallon of paint, they didn't get it correct. And so then I put the paint on there and I was like, just da 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 da, didn't like do like a little paintbrush, like so you wouldn't have noticed it. It was like a big swipe. So then for about probably a year and a half, we had these two like squares next to our wedding picture, and it drove me absolute bonkers. I was always embarrassed by it when people came over. I like didn't want to put it in my background of my walkouts. Like it was just something that drove me nuts. So then when we painted the kitchen, I got the same paint as the rest of the house. And my mother-in-law and I we were painting and we're like, we're just gonna try it on the like behind the couch or on the side of the wall just to see if it would match. And it did. It matched perfectly. So we went up there and we painted those two little spots, and now we wouldn't even know that they were there. It looks beautiful. And it just is like that little tiny switch made a huge difference in how I felt about that room, which is so stupid and so crazy, but it truly made a difference.
It is, see, and that's where it's like our spaces matter. So, like, we can sit here and say, like, it doesn't, like, oh, who cares if you have a basket of laundry right here? And yes, some days I'll leave the laundry there for like 2 days because I'm tired. I'm just not in the mood to fold them. I'm like, whatever, it'll be there tomorrow. But then I'm also looking at that basket of laundry every single day, and I'm like, I really need to fold that laundry in. Oh my goodness, I just have clothes all over my room. And so then it's like if I just were to sit here and fold them real quick, then like my stress levels about that situation, like we have enough things to stress about in our lives that if that basket of laundry is stressing me out, then like just get it off my list, you know?
Yeah.
And so like sometimes something so little like our environments really do matter of how we feel in that. Like, is our morning, do we have our like morning routine set up to be um like so it's less chaotic and that we can go about our morning peacefully, or are we always frantic? And sometimes our spaces, like if you don't have your stuff ready to head out the door, then you feel like oh, I forgot my cell phone at on the charger. Like, if you don't have your
Yeah.
things, if you don't have them in a system or a routine, then it can cause you to feel frantic or have a bad energy.
Yeah, and an interesting connection is today during our PD, we actually did some like self-care type walk and team bonding activities. And they actually did a presentation on what self-care means. And a lot of times we think it means getting our nails done, bubble bath, working out, things like that, which it can be, but it's also if you have like if you sleep well by going to bed early, that's self-care, but also if you do the dishes, that's self-care. If you cut your toenails, that's self-care. So like doing laundry, even though like sometimes you can leave it because you just don't feel like doing it, that's fine. But actually folding your laundry is part of self-care because then you're not stressed and you're not digging for those clothes. So self-care can also be cleaning your house and making a nice calm environment because that will help you feel better and not feel so anxious and stressed. But also I
And
wanted to,
usually, oh, I was just gonna say one thing about that. Usually when you start, it's like it's just getting you to start.
yeah,
Because once you like same with like spring cleaning, like once you start the windows, like you just like dread that. You're like, oh, I have to clean the
yeah.
windows. But once you start it, it takes you like 2 hours and you're done.
And then
And
you
then
feel better.
yeah, you feel so much better that you got it off your list.
But I also wanted to mention too, I was listening to, I think it was a reel by somebody on Instagram. I can't tell you who it was because I forget. But when Morgan and I are talking about like all of these things that like help us with calming the messy, we also want to preface that we don't think it needs to be like spick and span or labeled everything or color coded everything or have it be like look like it's just HGTV all the time because this lady that I was listening to on the reel actually was saying how her daughter was going to her friend's house and she was feeling like envious of her this friend's mom because her mom always seemed to have everything put together. The house was super organized, always clean, nothing was cluttered. But then her house was more the opposite, and like toys were laying around everywhere and laundry baskets, and like nothing was ever like completely structured and organized. And so she actually, like, when her daughter came home from her friend's house, she's like, she just told her daughter, like, I'm so sorry our house isn't like as nice and clean and stuff as your friend's house. Like, that's probably hard for you, and I'll try to do better. And the daughter actually said, like, no, mom, I feel cozy and comfortable in our house. I feel like I can play and be imaginative, and I can um, go and get toys when I want to play with them. And sometimes at my friend's house, I feel like I can't do that. Like, it's all nice and tidy, and I don't want to mess anything up, and it doesn't feel as cozy and like free and comfortable. And the mom was like, oh, I've never thought about it that way. So I definitely think that, like, it's good to not be extreme in both, in either
Yeah.
direction, kind of like in the middle somewhere. And it's like Morgan said in the beginning, it's going to look different in different seasons, and then also different for each one of us because we do have the different feelings about it. Like what stresses me out in my environment might not stress you out in your environment because we have two different perspectives on it.
Yeah, I 100% agree. And I think our different personalities. So Megan and I did a episode about personality types and how it can really help you and explain like why you think the way that you do. And there's this person that's in my Empower Her meeting group, and she was talking about how she like really wants to be a planner person. Like she really wants to be a planner person. She wants to be super organized. But she's just not built that way. Like it stresses her out to like color code things. Like as she's trying to write things in her planner, it just like it stresses and freaks her out. And for me, like I live with my planner. Like my planner is like my lifeline. Like everything I have going on is in there. So I really do agree with you that it can look so drastic and so different that what might be stressing me out in my home, like if that laundry basket's stressing me out, then I should take care of it and make sure that it's folded and put away. But someone else might look at that and be like, oh, it's fine. It doesn't bother me one way or the other, and they don't really care. And
Yeah.
or like some people like have to clean every crack and cranny like of their grout in the shower. And for me, if I do that once a month, I'm feeling pretty good.
Yeah.
It's like I don't even look at that on a regular basis, you know?
Yeah.
So speaking of that question, does the thoughts of cleaning versus organizing, like what are your thoughts on that? I kind of just mentioned mine.
For me, as far as cleaning versus organizing, I'm definitely more of an organizer than a cleaner. Cleaning is not my favorite thing to do. I do the regular cleaning each week, dust, vacuum, mop, bathrooms maybe once every other week, bedding maybe once every other week, like sheets and stuff. But the biggest thing for me as far as clean goes is with having Andrew, dog hair. Like I have to vacuum every single week because the dog hair just drives me bonkers when I am playing on the floor with Andrew and we're playing with his toys and there's dog hair all over my fingers. But yeah, I'm definitely more of an organizer than a cleaner. People have told me like my classroom looks super organized, and that it just looks like things are put in the spot. So I think I'm just naturally an organizer, and I have put a lot of time and dedication into my classroom that sometimes things at home get relaxed because I'm just tired and done. Don't have as much time as at home as I do at school. But and yeah, you said for you it was more organizing than cleaning too.
Yeah. And like I definitely like things to like I like to deep clean every so often, but yeah, I do more surface cleaning weekly and then I deep clean probably like once a month.
Yeah, Morgan and I were talking about the other day, that we like sometimes struggle with like certain things where we should put things. Listeners, how about you guys? Like those certain things that you just struggle with where to put them. Like as far as I don't have a bread basket or anything. I get frustrated of like my bread, my buns, bananas, those things sitting on the counter. So it'd be interesting, listeners, to see like what is the thing in your house that you're like, I need to figure out some where to put this, or I struggle to find a home for this all the time. Or like mail. Mail is a big one for me. Where do I put mail? That's always a struggle spot. Is there something specific for you, Morgan, that you feel you struggle with where to put it?
One of my things is actually jewelry. Like I have a jewelry box, but I also have like three smaller little boxes that have my like maybe and that's a thing like some of that jewelry I never wear anymore. Like I have
Yeah,
bracelets that I haven't worn since high school. And so I struggle thinking about that because I've been trying to wear my different necklaces lately and like I have necklaces on a necklace thing, but it's not hung right now. So the other day I had to sit there and untangle a whole bunch of my necklaces because they were just all a mess. So I think that would be one, but right now just kind of being in transition, I feel like I don't have a home.
everything.
I don't have a home for any of my stuff right now. So speaking of a house update, just a quick house update. I'm praying that we are moved into our house in early summer. June is what I'm praying for, and then I can take all summer to kind of get settled. Right now, they just put plumbing and electricity in, so drywall and the insulation and stuff should be. I think the drywall people are coming to talk to our contractor on Friday, so hopefully next week.
Yay.
Hopefully, next week insulation and drywall can be put up, and then our kitchen stuff got ordered, so cabinets and stuff come in 5 to 7 weeks. So
Yay.
yeah, yep. So all good things there. Just getting. I feel like the closer we are and the closer to the finish line, I'm getting more antsy.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah, but you guys have made lots of progress in the last couple weeks, and with Tyler taking spring break off to, and some family and friends to help you guys with the framing and the inside, I feel like you've definitely made some progress, and it looks like you're getting closer.
Yes, yeah, yeah. Thank you. We're so excited. So I'm excited to see it all come together.
All right,
Um,
you guys. We
oh,
found. Sorry, I was gonna say, should I tell them the quote?
yeah, I was just gonna mention the religious reason real quick. So, one thing that we really want to focus on is during this, like Megan said, during this whole calming the messy, is we don't want you to think that remember when we talked about the word should, like we should do this, we should do that. Like that's not the idea of these episodes. It's to get us thinking about the different aspects of our life and how to create calmness among the chaos that we have every day, but also finding contentness in what where we're at. Like, so yes, right now I'm living out of boxes, but I'm trying to be content and look for the blessings that I have every day in my life. I have a house that I'm living in, and I'm so blessed that my in-laws are allowing us to stay here and having help with suppers and things like that. So like I'm looking for the silver lining. So being content where you're at. So even if there are parts of your house that you want to change, like let's look for less materialistic things and not looking for validation from the outside world, but looking internally and like if things are stressing you out, then changing it, but also not focusing on shoulds. Like let's
Mm-hmm.
focus on um being content and still it's okay to want to change, but then how can we do that in a godly way?
And one thing with the prayer journal that I've been following, they talk even about like praying about your environment and praying to God about taking the burdens off of you when it comes to stresses that you live with every single day. So if you get stressed about things in your house, you can pray about them and pray about your living situation, but then also praying for contentment and being content of where you're at right now.
And I think making everyday moments like something special. Like I've been seeing a lot of people on Instagram putting like sparkling water in a wine glass or something
Yeah.
like that. Or like we don't have a fireplace right now, but over the winter I would pull up a fireplace on YouTube and have it playing while I was doing my devotional in the morning.
Yeah.
So like you can make your environment what you want it to be.
Oh yeah, definitely. And just being creative.
Hmm.
The quote that we kind of wanted to end with today, is your home either nurtures and supports you or depletes your energy and leaves you exhausted. And that is written by an interior designer. She is a founder and CEO of Home and Harmony Lifestyle. Her name is Christa O'Leary. And then it says, in today's frantic world, it is more important than ever to create a calm and peaceful space that allows you to recharge.
So over the next couple of months, we plan to dive more into these practical strategies and talk more about our real experiences with this topic, how we can create a vibe that inspires you within your home, and why it's important to us and like how it affects our routines and things like that. So if you guys have any ideas too of what you would like to see on this topic or some tips or tricks that you've had experience with and that have worked well for you, we'd love to hear those so that we can share them with others.
Yes, thank you guys for tuning in and make sure you listen to our next episode in May as well. Like Morgan said, we are so thankful for you guys. And if you liked this episode, we'd love it if you tagged us on social media and shared it with others.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great
Thank
April.
you.